Welcome, everybody, to the very first talk show we don't have a name for yet. And hopefully soon, if you have any suggestions, let us know. I'm Sean,
I'm Celeste.
and we're going to ramble. And I'm not babble.
Pretty sure there's copyright issues there.
Don't sue Kevin Smith or Ralph
We
Garman.
don't own any legal rights, I'm sorry.
We are kids at home. we don't we don't own anything.
We'll work off our cheap equipment.
Yeah.
Ghetto style.
Ghetto style. They would sue us for the whopping game systems we have and maybe a TV that they probably have bigger of.
They're like, we don't need this shit, but we're going to take it from you anyway just to make a point.
Yeah, just to make a point. No, I don't think they care. They do it all the time, I think. I don't know how much legal action they deal with.
Maybe.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, you were talking about disorders and shit, so.
Disorders and shit. Well, first let's talk about shit. I had a great one earlier.
Shh, I don't want to hear about it.
Okay, moving on to disorders. I was bringing up separation anxiety earlier because of the way that I feel being here in Las Vegas, the city of never sleeps. You think you'd have friends, but we don't because we're two small town kids from a small town.
Well, we have a couple of friends, but it's kind of hard to make friends here.
Well, yeah, but they're only available so often.
Yeah.
So, point being is like, separation anxiety is where people have anxiety because they're not near someone, a caretaker, a lover, friends.
They basically just don't like being alone.
Yeah, they can't handle it, which often leads into like anxiety attacks, panic attacks. And I know from experience that's not pretty, but
Yeah, but it's funny because you would still go through anxiety attacks from being alone, and you weren't even alone. You were just in a room with people who weren't really necessarily supportive of you. Remember back in Heather's?
yeah, I mean, true, but there's all kinds of alones.
No, I know. But I just mean it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be alone. You just feel alone.
Yeah, when you feel like you're not there with people, you're just there.
Yeah.
You're existing for what purpose? And me, I'm a big friend guy, so I've always been around people since day one. Like friends, my parents have always had people, or my mom has always had people around. Her friends, kids, I would hang out with since as long as I can remember. I've never not had friends. Never really had to play alone.
Yeah, see, that's where we differ because I remember at least in kindergarten, I had absolutely no friends. I did not talk to anyone. I would play by myself on the playground. So, and it didn't bother me until I was old enough to be like, wow, that's really sad. But,
And depressing.
yes. But growing up, I didn't always have people, but I just grew up used to that whole thought of, I like my alone time.
Well, every once in a while, some alone time's good, or
Oh,
just
yeah.
one-on-one time. And I'm not saying that's not a bad thing, but at the same time, I have a high need
Oh, yeah.
for group activity where I can become the center of attention or just be close to the center of attention. I'm definitely an attention whore,
Oh, yes.
but lately it's just kind of been like, what do I do? Because I've been getting off earlier than you sometimes, and I come home and there's video games or there's cleaning and stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I can do, but it's just like I do it, and then I'm like, okay, I've been doing this for 2 weeks. What do I do now? I need to change things up, and I hit some of the people up we've met, but they're all busy. They don't know how to hang out. Most of them want to go to a bar. You know,
And of course, you're not one for bars
no, I
all
mean,
the time anyway.
no, not all the time. I like going to the bar once in a while, like when we've had guys' nights and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been those have been fun, unless I'm drunk and getting in fights, but that'll be for another day. And it boggles your brain. What do you do? I mean, like, what? I mean, it's harder to ask you because you're not as bad as I am. But say you went a week feeling alone. What do you do?
Yeah.
What would you do?
Well, you remember I went insane that time that you went back home without me, and I was going, batshit crazy, and it was only like what 4 or 5 days, and your grandma was in the house, but I still felt alone and I felt left out. But that's just because I was seeing all the fun you guys were having on Facebook. But whenever I'm alone and I have nothing to do, I usually have a routine. I have to have background noise, so no matter what I'm doing, the TV's on, there's music on, there's something going. And it's a waste of electricity and everything, but it's just it's a way to
Oh
keep me sane.
no, not a waste of electricity. I don't believe in that at all. I'm the same way. I have the phobia of silence.
Yeah,
I forget the technical term for it, but I
but
mean,
it's not so much silence for me. Even if sometimes I don't want just music on. Sometimes it's like it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I won't even be paying attention to it. But if there's a show on in the background, like I just like hearing there's actual exchange of words going on, not just music. So for some reason, that's just my thing. But
so
usually
okay,
I'll
like when
have,
I'm trying to go to sleep, I need a fan. I can't sleep unless there's a fan
yeah,
on, or
that background noise.
yeah. So would you be able to do that, or do you just
If I was
it
by
has to be
myself and doing
conversation,
something, oh no, I like if I'm by myself, I actually need TV
words,
or yeah, some kind of words going and some kind of conversations
knowing that
going.
there's humanity out there somewhere?
Well, every once in a while, being able to laugh at something. If I'm listening to music, I'm not going to laugh at music all that often unless it's just a really funny song, which are kind of few and far between. Unless I've just listened to them over and over again.
Unless you're listening to Lonely Island.
That's definitely true. But no, usually I'll have that going, and then more often than not, I'm on my laptop. But there was a phase for a while when I was getting into knitting, and having that hobby was really nice, actually. Because I mean, it was one of those things where I could actually be watching TV when I was doing it, but it's like, I'd kind of look down at the knitting, but more often than not, it became muscle memory. I just knew what I was doing, meanwhile, I'm watching TV and into whatever's going on, so that's how I watched the entire third and second seasons of Game of Thrones.
Binge watching. Everybody
binge
watches
watch,
binge watch.
well, binge watching while I was knitting
Let
was
me
the whole
rephrase
thing.
that. Everybody binge watches Game of Thrones. I don't know what I said before,
Watches binging.
but everybody watches binge watching.
That's my favorite thing to do is watch people binge watch.
Sitting in the corner and like, are you enjoying this show? Yes, yes, I am. Leave me alone. I'm trying to watch.
As Netflix is asking, are you still watching? Are you going to do anything else with your life?
No, I have not got a soulmate. No, I don't have friends. Continue playing my episodes.
That's where I've seen that thing on Facebook all the time where Netflix goes, other people who may be interested in this show, and they talk about that whole concept of trying to get some kind of online dating through Netflix.
Yeah.
We noticed you like this show a lot.
So does this guy. That's a clown. That's creepy.
This dude's got a knife in his profile picture. I don't know if I feel safe right now.
I think he's a part of ICP.
No, but yeah, that's pretty much my whole way of coping with aloneness and silence. And sometimes I actually have things that I want to do. Or if I start getting this whole productive thing going, I'll have music in the background and I'll start cleaning around the house and that'll keep me sane most of the time. Or if I'm angry, I'll start binge cleaning. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much all I do. I
I
find games or hobbies.
I can only do so much for so long before
Well, we still haven't really found a hobby for you in the first place.
no, not really. And I mean, I've done all that. I've tried working out in my spare time and playing video games, actually cleaning and everything amongst the, you know, normal things you would do to occupy your time until something else came along, but it just doesn't do it for me. So it kind of makes me depressed a little bit, on the inside. So you can't go meet up with the guys or throw a little party, have everyone come over. Because when everyone did come over for that one little time we did do something here, it's kind of a bust. Not to be unfair to anybody that was there, but
Well, no, but it wasn't the same because we're so used to the friends that we hung out with back home that people here aren't, like the people back home. Not in a bad way, but it's a different kind of hanging out. So
yeah,
it's not the same. We're not used to it, so we didn't really know what to do. We didn't know how to act, so it was kind of just like winging it.
I think I just act normal, but being normal is kind of like you said, it's not our group of friends back home, so it's more like trying to figure out what these guys like, what's funny to them, what I can get away with.
Well, yeah, because the friends back home know exactly how you are, so you could be totally the same kind of person that you like to be, that you usually enjoy being, and they're all just like, oh, that's just Sean. That's how Sean is, that kind of mentality. But here, it's like, they might look at you kind of funny, or.
This guy's a weirdo. What? What do you mean I'm a weirdo? I didn't do anything this time. I'm sitting here commenting on your hair.
See, I'm the kind of person where when I hang out, I like people that know how to entertain themselves, so I don't have to be entertaining people all the time. That's why, like, whenever we're, like the last time we did have people over, you guys are all playing apples to apples. Well, I wanted to just do my own thing. I don't know why. Like, there's only so many things that I'll take part in, but more often than not, I like my independence when hanging out, but I don't mind people joining or joining other people if they're doing something I find interesting. It's just I don't feel that absolute need to entertain people like I probably should when I'm hosting or co-hosting.
Well, that's why you're with me, because when I host, I'm all up in the grill of everyone.
I know
I am
that.
such a spaz that I love to make everyone happy. So,
Yeah, you make up for my shortcomings. It works perfectly.
oh, I make up for my own shortcomings. I'm not short, and I'm not coming.
Whoa!
Not yet, anyway.
Whoa!
Maybe later.
Jesus.
Anyway, so yeah, there's that separation anxiety. I mean, I'm not. I don't remember the technical term for being afraid of silence. I'm not. I don't remember it offhand.
There is a phobia, but yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember the
it's a
technical name.
phobia. But there was another one I was thinking of. It's claustrophobia was another thing I have pretty bad, and it's in a mild way because it's not like shove me in a small box and I'm gonna freak out. It's I mean I got my foot stuck one time in a car, like the guy set his seat back too soon, and my toes got stuck and they couldn't move.
You don't
And
like being restrained and unable to go places and do what you need to do.
yeah, I don't like my limbs being mostly held down because I started I mean, I didn't mean to, I guess, but I started punching the guy in the back of the head until I lifted his feet forward because I couldn't wiggle my toes. I was freaking out. And so it's kind of like that. I get the same way when I crouch down. Like, I work with bushes and stuff, and I have to crouch underneath some bushes. It creeps me out. I mean, I'm slightly tall. I'm not the tallest of our friends, but
Just so everyone
it
knows,
also,
when he says bushes, he does mean the botanical kind, not,
I'm always getting in women's bushes.
and
I have
nuts.
to maintain their lawns, their bushes. I gotta trim their trees. And if anybody didn't guess, I'm a gardener right now. But sometimes crawling in there and getting like piles of leaves or debris that I have to get out, uh, it sucks. I can't take it sometimes. I get all paranoid, and then my boss, he likes to play with his blower, so he's always blowing leaves around, and he'll still blow when I'm down there. So not only is it dusty and stuffy, I'm trying to crouch behind this bush, and he's blasting me in the face with his blower. Wink, wink. But there's so many dirty jokes to be made with working gardening.
I'm staring
I get to fix a lot of drip heads, and
at
you
you. Damn
know,
it, Sean. No, but I get what you mean though, because a lot of times I'm not claustrophobic by any means. I don't have that phobia, and I won't freak out near as bad. I don't know how to pronounce that. Um, but I mean, I'll still
sedate phobia is the fear of silence. Sedate phobia. I hope I'm saying that right.
sedatophobia. I don't know.
Sedate phobia.
I don't know how to pronounce it either. But yeah, like I don't get claustrophobic, but it's like if I'm like say under blankets, like whenever you end up trapping me under a blanket, I start telling you to let me up is because I like if I feel like I can't breathe properly, if the air is way too humid and I'm starting to just breathe in my own, carbon monoxide, I'll start freaking out because I don't feel the oxygen getting into my system. So like my whole freaking out, even when we were hiking and all of a sudden I started getting out of breath, it's because I couldn't feel the oxygen getting into my lungs anymore. And that's what freaks me out. I don't like when I feel like I'm not actually breathing, and I'm probably breathing just fine, but I don't feel like it. So then I start freaking out. But in closed spaces, I don't really much mind. I can usually keep a very level head. But I do get what you mean. If I'm stuck somewhere and I can't quite get out of it, like my foot gets stuck in something, or like my lower half of my body gets tangled up in something, like I'll freak out just because I can't move and I can't get out of it and I can't figure it out.
Yeah, that's one of the things that like when we used to wrestle all the guys, and I remember getting put in chokeholds quite often, and those were the ones that would take me out because I could still move everything. So it wasn't as paranoia to me as like someone trying to pin me with armbar or just lay on me. Where if I couldn't move, I freak out, and that's when I start upheaving big people or
Well, that's
just
probably just like that one time at your aunt's when, Stevie had you pinned on the ground, or you had Stevie pinned on the ground, and he started kicking you in the head. He was probably going through that exact same thing.
Yeah, he was, he was, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, but he couldn't figure out how to just quit. He
And you
started
apparently
what?
weren't listening. You were definitely holding him there.
Well, I told him to tap out repeatedly, and he wouldn't do it. And he started swinging and kicking, and somehow ended up in some more banana-shaped pretzel. I don't know, and I just said, but it's that's how things happened and whatnot. So, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, I've been in a lot of wrestling matches, and some, they get my arm, they put me in an arm bar or something, and I start to wiggle out of it because I get all freaked out and paranoid, and it's kind of a strength, like for that, I guess.
Well,
But
you get that adrenaline rush, and all of a sudden you're able to move people that you wouldn't have been able to move before.
exactly, saving them, that old lady lifting a car to save a life.
I'm not sure if that one would work, but
Well, I've heard a story, but I'm not sure. I never looked into it. Someone somewhere had that story.
Was it on the internet?
I believe so, but I don't believe everything I read. That's
I
why I
was
said I never
gonna
looked
say,
into
you
it.
can't always trust the internet.
Trust the internet with your life. Post everything you know on Facebook.
They do that anyway.
Yes. Help me with my life problems. But I mean, the main thing is trying to find something to do. That's why we wanted to do this. I want to try this talkie showy dealio and see if that's kind of something that can, I can look forward to. And I've been hyped up about it since we started talking about it. It'd be cool to keep going, maybe do it once a week or twice a month or something
Yeah.
of some sort and go through it pretty fluently. Gets my mind off stuff until we get things together. Because we're definitely in a pickle at the moment.
Yeah, we get into our own ruts, but we're working through it.
So once we get through this pickle of, you know, our life, I don't like pickles, so we need to turn it into something else. I don't really care for cucumbers either. But eventually it'll become a banana and I'll love it.
Oh my god. Your metaphors leave something to be desired.
There's also cherries, watermelons, grapes,
That's not exactly what I was intending.
tacos.
Right. Tacos.
I can get on board with tacos.
Make tacos, not war. Is that what that thing said?
Yeah, make tacos, not war.
So on the subject of disorders, I was also thinking, what about attention deficit disorder?
They say that fades away as you get older, but it's
I don't. I think.
I think it always lingers.
Well, I think they like to use it as an excuse when kids are younger to make up for the fact that they just have short attention spans. Kids just have short attention spans. That's just how it is. But everyone's like, "Oh no, my kid's got ADD." It's not
ADD,
something.
ADHD,
It's not something that's necessarily going to stick. A lot of them are just saying that because they don't want their kid to get in trouble at school. They'll tell their teacher, "Oh, they have ADHD." But some kids actually genuinely do have it, and it
and
sticks
those are the
with
kids
them.
that take Ritalin. Like I remember my mom tried to make me take Ritalin, and I took one pill and I chucked the whole bottle across the room. Pills scattered everywhere. I was like, I don't want this. And she goes, Okay, you don't have to take it, but you're picking this mess up. I was like, Oh, well, okay. And so, I mean, I think I still have it. There's those times where I just get those spurts of like, let's do it,
Oh yeah.
sex, or let's run the block, or work out, or come on, you're boring me, and then it fades when no one's keeping up with what I want to do. So I'm like,
Well, that's usually why I figure whenever we're on trips and stuff like you do all the time, you always just end up walking off by yourself at some point, and then usually people are turning to me going, oh, "Where did he go? Is he mad? Is he upset?" And I'm just like, "No, he's just, doing something."
faster,
He's
stronger, and harder, better, faster, stronger. Oh,
no, Sean.
oh, well, I
No,
thought for a moment.
but I'm just always telling people, no, that's just how he is. He just has to go off and do things sometimes if he's just feeling restless, and that's usually what it is if people
Well,
get
like that
restless.
hike up Red Rock we did, and where I just kept going. I had all the energy in the world, and I was like, I want to do this. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And
I know.
I feel bad because I left you guys behind, but at the same time, you guys made it just fine.
Yeah, what if I would have tumbled backwards? I would have gone
I
all
would
over
have
it.
jumped down 1,000 miles just to go get you. Trust me.
You would not have made it in time for me to bash my skull open on a rock.
I'm
Just
not
saying.
saying I would have flashed my way down there to catch you, but I would have been on the way. You laying in a crevice.
To mourn my death as you see my brain scattered on the ground?
I won't mourn your death as I pick up your corpse and run towards civilians and try to get you to a hospital.
Pieces of my brain coming out. You're like, I think she can still be saved.
Just push it back in. Just squeeze it in there.
Does anybody know CPR?
No, not her mouth. Do her brain.
Because that'll totally help.
Yeah. Blow on it. I think it's on fire.
Oh, that'd be so bad. No, but it's just that same basic principle of, you know, you get restless, you don't really want to keep doing what everyone's doing, or people are kind of boring you. You know, it's harsh to say, but you know it's true.
Yeah.
When
Well,
people are boring you, you
it's
start walking off and doing your own thing without telling anyone.
that's in small groups where it's kind of self-managing with small groups. Like when we used to throw parties, I would never do that because I was so attentive to everyone else, trying to be like, okay, like when we had parties at our old house, I'd be in charge of almost everything or above everything, controlling everything. So it would be me running around figuring out different positions, like, okay, we don't want to let minors slip into this party, so we gotta have somebody on this. And I gotta make sure there's enough alcohol for everybody, and the music's got to be good. The beer pong table's got to be
Well, that's
set.
because you were hosting, but not only that, you had so many different things around you that you could do that you didn't necessarily
Well, that's
have
what I
to be
mean.
that way.
It was
But
just a bigger crowd. Like if
yeah,
if five people would have showed up, I would have got bored because there would have been like two on a beer pong table, maybe four because there was like three beer pong tables.
and two or three people just standing around talking that you get to stare
Yeah, and then me going like, oh, what a dull day. Even
at.
though they're sitting there drinking and enjoying themselves, I beat you. You're trolling. Alert, and I'm just like, oh, okay. But it was one of those things where if I had stuff to do, I like to do it. But being by yourself is probably the worst. I mean, second tied almost first worst of being that silence.
Mhm.
Because I rarely get in the situations where I let myself get claustrophobic. I know my limits, so I try to stay away from them. Where sometimes silence you can't help. Like when we start to go to bed and the fan's not on, I'm like, the fan's not on, hey, Celeste, the fan's, we need a
Oh my
fan,
god,
Celeste.
I know
And you're
you.
like, go turn it on. I'm like, no, you go do it. And
I know
so,
you still won't get up to go do it, but you're the one, bitching
bitching,
about
yeah.
it.
Normally I will get up and do it, but
Well, that's if you
I
don't have
let I
anyone
let
else
it
around to do
I let
it.
it hang for a minute, and if you get up, then I'm like, oh, thank you.
Uh,
Most of the time, I'm getting up as you're getting up, or moving in that motion. I'm just slower. You're just like, oh, okay, I'll go do it.
and then I get back and I'm thinking, yeah, I did this for him. Maybe he'll cuddle or something. And then no, he just rolls over and goes back to sleep. And I'm
I
just
have a
like, I did
very
that for
soft,
nothing.
squishy pillow that I love.
I know, but you know what? I cuddle the shit out of you all the time.
And
Well, you can't return the favor, asshole.
sometimes
Sometimes.
I like my space when I'm asleep. There's part of
I
that
know.
claustrophobia stuff. If I
I
hold you
like
too long, I'm gonna
I like
punch you
my
in the
space too,
face.
but you don't really do it like.
I remember when I was super little, I used to sleep in my mom's bed. I'd run in there because I didn't want to sleep alone or whatever. And she would literally kick me off the bed, and I would hit the floor because if I was too close to her when I was sleeping, I would just start pushing or kicking, and she'd be like, I'm tired of you hitting me in the sleep. Get off my bed. And I'd have to go to my own bed. But then slowly growing up, I realized it's because I don't like to be crowded when I'm sleeping. That's why like pillows end up on the floor, blankets end up over there. There's a sock in the ceiling. I don't know why, but there is.
Stuck in the drywall.
Yes. Was that there when we moved in? I'm not sure. So, I mean,
No,
that's
I
where that
know.
comes from.
I know you like your space, but I just mean like
I just
while
sprawl. I
we're
mean,
still awake.
if I
Don't get me.
could, I'd look like a fucking sprawled out, legs spread, arms wide, take the whole bed to myself, get
Well,
on the couch, bitch.
well, don't get me wrong. When I like to, when I'm actually trying to sleep, I do like all my space.
Ooh,
I don't like to cuddle all the time, like not all the time, because then I'll get claustrophobic too, and I'll be like, okay, get away from me now, you're fine. But, you
I'm
know,
like one of those weird animals. If I don't have like 75% of the bed, I'm not comfy.
which is funny because you're more settling for like 30 lately because I'm always on your side trying to cuddle.
I know, and I'm like, get away from me! I'm on the edge. And we have a California king bed. I mean, it's
And I still take up
massive.
most of it just because I'm trying to get close.
I'm all scooting away closer to the edge. Here she comes. Come cuddle with me. No, I don't have bed left.
Well, once, it's actually time to sleep, I do usually like to take up my own space, but by then I'm already in the middle of the bed and I don't realize it, and I won't move over just because no one's telling me to move over, and that's my warm spot. My body has created my little cove of, heat right there. I'm not going to move out of it.
Yeah, I don't like disturbing you. I'm somewhat nice, okay? I don't like to disturb.
Somewhat.
I don't like to disturb you when you're asleep unless I'm supposed to wake you for
No, I
something.
know.
Or so if
You're
you're
very polite about
comfy,
it.
I'll just cozy up on my side. I don't care.
I know.
I'm not a big guy. I can. I mean, I'm long, but I'm not
I know
too long.
it's not like when we were sharing the little single beds when all of a sudden I just feel an elbow to the face or you know.
Get off my bed!
Well, I would get up to like reposition at one point and just lift my head up, and all of a sudden, nope, there's Sean's elbow right where my head was supposed to be. So all of a sudden now I'm just like, where does my head go? Like trying to fit underneath it, trying to lay on top of it, and it's just nothing's comfortable. So then I just start pushing you.
All out war on those singles or twins.
We definitely went through it enough times, and there were a
Yes.
couple times I fell off. It was totally your
And
fault.
I'm proud of it. That means I was sleeping good. Move, thud.
Yeah, but usually at that point I'm bitching enough to where you wake up anyway, so.
What? What do you want? There's no pizza in the fridge.
Roll the fuck over!
Ugh. The wall's in the way.
The wall's in the way. Oh, fun times indeed. Does it taste good?
Yes. You know, it's funny because when I drink soda, I don't get that same relief I do when I drink water, and especially the golden water from Grandma's house. You know, it's so water's just so good. Like it cools the body, it releases stress. I don't know. Water's a miracle drug to me.
Well, because your body actually runs on water. I mean, I should drink more of it, but I don't because I don't like the taste of it. But
I don't know how you run on Pepsi, but you live off Pepsi.
you know what? Pepsi still has water in it, so I'm just getting those trace amounts enough to keep me alive.
13% water from Pepsi.
So the rest of my body is made up by Pepsi.
Yes, it's in your blood. It is your blood.
You spill my blood and it's slightly darker
Sweet.
colored. And it's sweet. Are you drinking it?
Ooh, I could become a vampire now. Pepsi flavored blood, I'm in.
No.
Okay, well, it's not Mountain Dew, but
Well, that's the thing is when I have flavored water like the peach tea that I usually make, I mean, I'm totally fine with that. I was always fine with, I used to drink the Lipton diet green tea, and it had to be diet. For some reason, I didn't like the taste of regular green tea, but that kind of stuff I was totally fine with. And I was
I
fine with.
never liked Lipton
Really?
diet green tea ever.
I thought.
They come in those bottles. Sometimes they come in those bottles, right?
Yeah, that was
I
one of
hated
ones.
those ones.
Yeah, no,
I think my favorite tea is the green tea from Sobe.
So be green tea.
But when you have that green tea, the Sobe green tea with Panda Express, it's just fucking good. It's like it has to be there. Like it's almost like you gotta have like a cola or a root beer with pizza, you know, or root beer and a root beer float. It's just how it is. Can't help it sometimes. A little off subject here.
I know. That's okay. That's what these are for. For rambling, as you so eloquently put it at the very beginning of this particular recording.
Particular.
I try. Anyway.
You get lost there for a moment? I was like, what are we waiting for?
I was like staring off into space, and it's one of those things where you stare off, and all of a sudden you zone out, and your eyes get really comfortable where you're zoning out, and that's usually when you realize you're staring at someone.
Yeah, someone's staring at you.
I wonder. I always wonder if that's kind of no, that's not any sort of attention thing.
It's just zoning, spacing out.
Yeah, the only time when I did go through like severe ADHD was trying a certain specific form of smoking, and all of a sudden it's like,
Crack?
no, it wasn't crack.
Coke.
No, it was not coke either.
Heroin.
No.
I'm not sure if any of those are the same.
Jesus, Sean. No, but like
Ecstasy.
I'd be talking to someone and all of a sudden I'd stare off somewhere else. Like my eyes would barely divert like a little fraction of a moment just to see something on the other side of that person. And I would just zone in and I was like, oh my god, what is that? And I'd start thinking about all these possibilities.
It's a penis.
No, it was never a penis.
Oh.
But then people would just realize I was zoning and not listening and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, totally.
Normally, I don't reply to people. Like, you and Grandpa hate it the most
Yes.
is when you're talking to me and I don't respond.
See,
And you
but
think I'm not listening, but
that's perfectly normal to get upset about it because you know what? If someone's not responding, it just feels like they're not listening and it feels like you're talking to yourself. It's rude.
But that's just how I am, and I don't
I know
understand.
it's
I
how
mean, I'm
you
not gonna.
are.
That's not gonna change because I mean, I try to acknowledge sometimes now because people are getting upset about it. But
Well, nowadays I know better. Now I just know to like throw something at you or just go, "Hey, are you listening?" And then usually you respond at that point. Or nowadays I
yes, I'm
just,
listening.
or nowadays I just keep on rambling because I'm like, I don't give a fuck if he listens or not. I'm just gonna talk about it because I want to talk about it.
You just want to put it in the air. Words, words,
I really do.
words.
I need to release my, amount of carbon monoxide into the air on a daily basis. Otherwise, if I don't hit my quota, I just go crazy.
So anyway, we've covered. Let's see, claustrophobia, which is the fear of tight, small spaces. And there's different forms of it. Like I said, I can get my hand stuck in something and I'll freak out. Where if you put me in a small box, it wouldn't freak me out.
It could either be enclosed spaces or lack of ability of movement,
Yeah.
limitations of certain sorts.
We went over the sedate phobia.
We kind of touched on it just because we didn't know what it was called.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, then again, we did kind of cover it when we were talking about you needing to sleep, and
With the fan and some
yeah,
kind of background noise. I used to do it sometimes with a stereo. I remember when I was younger. My brother would have the stereo on 10, and all of a sudden we'd hear, turn it down! Sisters on the other side complaining, and it's like, it's on 10, you can't hear it in our own room. And they get all butthurt and tell our parents. And
it's funny because that's how my friend Lexi was, except not quite that bad. But I mean, like, she'd be listening to music in her earphones, and we always thought that she just must have had bad hearing because she always had it up so freaking loud you could hear every single thing that was going on under her earphones. And it was usually music. You could hear the guitar, the drums, the vocals. You could even understand what they were saying, even if it was metal and
take
growling.
me home tonight.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't that
oh,
one.
okay.
But we were always like, Lexi, turn it down. You need to turn it down. It's too loud. Everyone can hear it. Like, we'd be on road trips and we'd be telling her this, and she'd get all pissed off because she thought we were just being stingy, and we thought she just had the volume super loud. We realized, like, a couple years down the road, that it was the kind of earphones she had. Whatever they were amplifying outward too. Like, we could see it after we actually inspected it and looked closely at it. They had little, like, the speaker looking things on the outside, and it was releasing some of the sound out that way.
Huh.
Because she would listen to them at school too, and her schoolmates would just look at her and just be like, "Turn it down," and she would be totally baffled because she was listening to it at such a low volume.
Yeah.
And then I tried listening to it at a totally perfectly normal volume, and my parents were like, "Yeah, we could still hear it."
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what kind they were, but
I wonder what kind of headphones those were. To look into that.
I don't know. But she would always get so much shit for it because we just didn't realize that it was the earphones. And then she started getting new earphones, and then it was a little bit better. But I think she still just listened to music really loud.
I do that anyway.
Yes, you do.
I was gonna say we covered that sedatophobia, silence, and then
Separation anxiety.
separation anxiety. And I want to point out. Do you know where the word phobia comes from?
No, actually, I don't.
Um, Greek. There was a Greek god. I think it was Phobos. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it was like Phobos, and he was the god of fear. So that's where we got the word phobia.
That makes sense because I think we got a lot of our root words from actual Greek mythology, or at least I don't know if we got it from
Well, we
them,
got it from English, England, and Brits.
or maybe they
We
named their
stole
gods
language
after
from
our
everywhere.
words. I don't know, or not our words,
No,
but
no, no,
those
no. That's
words.
probably not possible because they definitely had them first.
Well, no, I just mean whatever language that they were speaking, did they get the name of the gods from the words that they are from the language that they already spoke, or did they get the words from those
Well,
gods' name?
I'm pretty sure I remember reading that it was the god, like the gods, and then you put the word in. So like Phobos was there first, and then they're like, oh well, let's make phobia out of it.
Well, that's just
And I'm
like
pretty sure
there's
they just used phobo as fear or something.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
that's
I'm
just
not
like
sure,
there's
but
the Greek god, not god. I think he was a demigod, but or actually I think it was a human, Narcissus.
I have no idea.
There was this whole story about one of the demigods or one of the lesser goddesses, I guess, was wanting him to fall in love with her. So she made some kind of spell that made him fall in love with the first thing he saw, and he looked in the water and saw a reflection of himself, so he fell in love with himself. That's where you get the term.
Narcissistic
Yeah.
cannibal. It's a great song.
No, Sean.
Oh, sometimes I'm narcissistic.
Yes, you are.
Anyway, and then yeah, separation anxiety. Yeah, everybody knows pretty much what anxiety is and separation, so just put the two together. Go by all means.
God, just leave it laying there.
On the table, all long and elongated
I
and
know.
hose-like.
You're not doing anything
And
with
you're
it.
just
Come
gonna
on.
grab it and suck the tip.
Jesus Christ, that went far fast.
By all means, take a hit of my tip.
You actually said this was mine.
I give it to you, yes. Only because I don't want it if we ever decide to go different ways.
Just to reiterate for people listening, we're talking about a hookah.
Don't let her fool you. It's a hookah.
What?
Anyway, so yeah, I think that's about it for this session of rambling.
Yeah, totally.
And I think we'll say our goodbyes and hope that this test run is good for people.
Which we mentioned and discussed a sign on. I don't think we ever talked about a sign off.
Well, we probably don't have a sign off yet. If anybody wants to know anything about us, let us know. But if anybody has any ideas on what we can name this, by all means, and I'm not saying the episode, but the actual show itself.
Or if you have suggestions for specific topics to start talking about and rambling on about.
Rambling on about, yes. By all means, leave it in the comment section.
If we have one.
If we have one. This is all new to us. Thank you. Come again. But let's. I kind of wanted to do this and leave you guys with a song to check out. Like nobody has to. It's just kind of cool that you could share a song.
You didn't mention this to me. You didn't consult the elders.
You're a lot younger than me, honey. I'm consulting myself.
Who said I was talking about me? Come on.
Elder dragons, please confirm my ideas. Thank you. So, I mean, a lot of you know a lot of music, and well, I just want to leave you with a song, give you the artist, the song name, blah 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 blah. Check it out. If not, we'll probably do this at the end of every episode because I just like to share music. That's one of my biggest things is music, love, passion, sex and love with music. Anyway, moving on. Signing off. How do we sign off with this?
Well, are you gonna tell them what the song was?
Well, yeah, but we gotta before I leave that and then sign off. I want to figure out what the sign off might be. This is an elongated episode because we don't know how to get the fuck off the internet.
Usually by signing out and closing the laptop or turning off your phone. There are multiple ways to do it.
Hit the lock screen. Done. Hey, it shows he's still on.
Son of a bitch.
Don't comment now. Well, okay, we'll go generic this time until we figure something out. I'm going to leave you with a song, and it's one that I had previously just joyed out there when we were talking, but it's Take Me Home Tonight by Eddie Money, featuring Ronnie Spector. It's a great song. It's good little classic rock. Check it out. If you know anything about anything, you'll check out Ronnie Spector too, who's a different style completely. What do you think of that song?
Which one?
The only one. Yes, the one I just mentioned.
Well, you played the other Ronnie one earlier. I didn't know if you were referring to it.
Just a quick little.
Well,
good, bad, check it out.
I do like it. Yeah, I do. There are certain parts of the song I don't care for, but that kind of happens in every song. But I do like the song as a general musical thing. I usually sing along to it anyway.
Yes, nobody likes Justin Bieber or Rebecca Black. I mean,
no way, no one. Sorry, believers.
No lawsuits were ever going to happen in this part of the section that we're doing.
Don't sue us. We don't have much.
We're poor. Screw you.
No, yeah, it's a decent song. It's definitely a classic. It's worth listening to because it's in
Take
a lot
a listen.
of movies.
Take Me Home Tonight by Eddie Money featuring Ronnie Spector.
Yeah, that one.
Anyway, this is us saying goodnight. Have a good weekend.
Or week, whatever time you're listening to it.
Yeah, whatever. Listen to it whenever you're comfy. I'm Sean.
I'm Celeste.
Have a good night.